forest. The Little Laturi Forest is home to many shy and reclusive animals that don't see humans very often, and they really like to hide amongst the trees, which can make them a little bit difficult to spot sometimes. It does look like coming up on the right-hand side up on top of the hill is going to be an okapi. Many people think that the okapi is related to the zebra because of the stripes on its back. It's actually the only known living relative of the giraffe. So over on the left-hand side, on top of this hill, are going to be some bongos as well as a few greater kudu. While they look like deer, greater kudu are actually an antelope species, the second tallest in Africa. You can tell that those are female greater kudu because the males have horns and the females do not. And bongos are known as the ghost of the forest as they are very rarely seen. They use their backward-shaped horns to help navigate their way through thick brush. It looks like coming up a little bit farther out on the left-hand side, lying down right up against the wall in the corner, is a black rhino. Black rhinos can weigh up to 3,000 pounds. It is sadly due to poaching, there are only about 5,000 left in the entire world. Rhinos are poached for their horns, which are only made of keratin, the same thing as your hair and fingernails. So it looks like coming up down on the left-hand side, a couple of saddle-billed storks. Those storks can reach heights of up to 5 feet tall and can have a wingspan of up to 9 feet from tip to tip.
Felipe. Cheese.
We're going to be heading out of a Little Laturi Forest and into the Safi River. The Safi River is a very good place to find many aquatic dwelling animals, so keep your eyes open and see what we can find. It does look like coming up on the right-hand side under the water are going to be a couple of Nile hippopotamuses. Might also see a few more just up ahead on the left as well. So right around that island are a pod of pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelicans get their names from when their backs turn pink during mating season. Kind of makes them appear to be blushing when they're looking for a mate. And hippos are nocturnal animals, so they'll sleep during the day and will be most active at night. Hippos sleep under the water and can hold their breath for up to 8 minutes at a time. When they need air, their bodies will naturally rise to the surface. They'll get the air that they need, then they'll sink back down without ever waking up. So it looks like coming up right around the corner on the left-hand side are some Nile crocodiles. Nile crocodiles can grow as long as a giraffe is tall, about 18 to 20 feet long. They can also weigh up to about 500 pounds. Heading out of the Safi River into my favorite part of the reserve, the savannah. The savannah is home to many of the world's most famous animals such as lions, giraffes, and zebras. One of the best views of the savannah, right up here, you might notice that the grounds here look really well groomed. It's actually the animals doing, as animals like antelope and wildebeest will trim the grass by eating it. Giraffes will trim the trees by eating the leaves, and elephants will knock the trees over. Looks like coming up on the right-hand side, scattered throughout the savannah, are going to be a few Maasai giraffes, as well as some springbok. Springbok are a very small type of antelope that only ever grow to be about 3 feet tall. But despite their small size, they can jump extremely high. From a standing position, they can jump up to 6 feet in the air, or 13 feet forward. And they can also run at speeds of up to 50 miles an hour, making them one of the top 10 fastest animals in the world. Coming up over on the left-hand side, behind the bushes, a little bit farther back, are some African wild dogs. African wild dogs are the most successful hunters in all of Africa, even more so than the lion or the hyena, with 90% of all of their hunts successful. African wild dogs hunt as a pack and will run their prey until it drops from exhaustion. They're also sometimes known as painted dogs for the unique markings, and they also only have 4 toes instead of 5. So coming up a little bit closer to us on the left, going to be some sable antelope, as well as a few mountain zebras. No 2 zebras have the exact same markings, just as no 2 humans have the exact same fingerprint. You can also tell that those zebras are indeed black with white stripes because of the color of their noses. Their noses are black, which means that the rest of them is black as well. Sable antelope are the official emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They use those curved-shaped horns to help ward off any predators who might want to jump on their backs. Giraffes, of course, are the tallest animals in the world. They can reach heights of up to 18 to 20 feet tall, and their tongues can also reach up to 1.5 feet in length. Helps them reach those really high up tree branches. Giraffes also have 4 stomachs, so they spend most of the day eating to fill those stomachs, and they only spend 30 minutes out of the entire day sleeping. And a group of giraffes is known as a tapir. So coming up just ahead on the right-hand side, on top of the hill, going to be a few Ankole cattle, as well as some white-bearded wildebeest. Wildebeest have one of the biggest migrations of any animal in the world. They're also sometimes known as mews for the sound that they make. Kind of how a cow goes mew, wildebeest go mew. Hence the word mew. And Ankole cattle are the only domesticated animals here in the reserve, and while the horns on those Ankole cattle look very big and very heavy, they're actually pretty light, as they're pretty hollow inside. And they also have blood vessels inside those horns, which help keep them cool during the day.
yeah. It's hollow inside. Parecen muy pesados, pero en realidad son muy livianos. No sé, no sé si se refiere a esto o a lo que vamos a ver acá, al elefante.
Coming up on the right hand side, on top of the hill, are going to be a couple of African elephants. So over on the left hand side, up on top of the rocks, are some mandrills. Mandrills' bright faces make them the most colorful monkey in the world, and they're also the largest. An adult male mandrill can weigh up to 100 pounds. Mandrills also have little pockets in their mouths, which allow them to store snacks for later.
Ajá. Buena pregunta.
Also see some more elephants just up ahead in elephant country as well. So we'll keep heading forward to see what we can find.
¿Te parece que se va a caer?
Looks like we may be able to see some more elephants up this way. You can see some tusk marks in the red clay here. Elephants actually eat that red clay as it provides them with many important minerals for the nutrition. Elephants are a matriarchal society, which means, of course, that the females are in charge. At adulthood, male elephants will be kicked out of the herd and will live solitary lives from then on out. But female elephants will be pregnant with their little ones for up to 22 months. The little one is a relative term when you give birth to a 300-pound calf. So sometimes throughout the day, you might see elephants throwing dirt on themselves using their trunks. They do that because the dirt acts as a natural sunscreen to help protect their sensitive skin from the harsh rays of the sun. Right around the corner, on the left-hand side, are some greater flamingos. Greater flamingos are born grayish-white color, and they get their pink coloring from the shrimp that they eat, which is high in beta-carotene. They don't get that pink coloring until about 2 years after birth. Greater flamingos are also the lightest shade of pink of any flamingo in the world, as well as the tallest. And a group of flamingos is known as a flamboyance.
What?
Looks like coming up right around the corner on the left-hand side, on top of the hill, And then there'll be a few cheetahs lying down over this way. Their markings help them blend in really well, so they're a little bit hard to spot.
No, I don't see it. Like at the base of the hill where the grass is dirt.
Cheetahs are the fastest land mammal in the world.
Oh, okay.
They can reach speeds of up to 60 miles an hour, but can only maintain that speed for a few seconds. Cheetahs are the only big cats that cannot retract their claws, as well as the only big cats that can purr. They do their hunting during the day rather than at night like most big cats, as they have very good eyesight. The black tear marks that you see on the cheetah's face help absorb the glare of the sun. So coming up just up ahead on the right-hand side, and a little bit farther out, are a few white rhinos. So looking on the left-hand side, on top of this copy, there are some lions out as well right now. Lions are nocturnal animals, so they'll sleep for up to 20 hours a day and will do their hunting at night. The lionesses in the pride will do the hunting, whereas the males will stay behind and protect the pride and the cubs. During the day, lions can see just as well as we can, but at night they can see 6 times better. And the padded paws that lions have on their feet help them stalk their prey silently, making their hunts more successful. So coming up right around the corner on the left-hand side, lying down behind those rocks and logs, are a few warthogs. Warthogs are burrowing animals, so they'll sleep inside their burrows with their tusks exposed for protection against predators. And despite their small size, warthogs can actually run extremely fast. They can run up to 35 miles an hour, which is actually the same speed that a rhino can run. White rhinos get their names from the Afrikaans word "wyd," meaning wide, for their wide-shaped mouths. White rhinos are also considerably larger than black rhinos, as white rhinos can weigh up to 5,000 pounds, whereas black rhinos only ever get up to about 3,000 pounds. So coming up over on the left-hand side, Warden is raising a few Nigerian dwarf goats. Locals will often raise Nigerian dwarf goats for their milk, which is considered to be of high value in nutrition. Their smaller size also makes them a little bit easier to raise, as opposed to other larger livestock, which can take up more resources, as well as more land. These gates that do mark the end of our safari today. On behalf of everyone here at Kilimanjaro Safaris, I would like to thank you for visiting us and would encourage you to do so again later today as well, as no two of our safaris are ever exactly the same. And as many of our animals here in the reserve are nocturnal, some of them are best seen around dusk. If you would like to see more animals today, you could head over to Gorilla Falls, a self-guided walking tour, where you can see lowland gorillas, meerkats, and my personal favorite, the naked mole rat. If you were interested in seeing animals like tigers, Komodo dragons, or bats, they can be found over at the Maharaja Jungle Trek in Asia.
Otro.
In Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye, as it is far too sad, far too final. So instead, we like to say Waharini, which means to go well. And for any of you wilderness explorers on board, this truck is the Simba 1.